So hey everybody, and as always, welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out for a few. My name is Rich Charpentier. I'm the channel host, and normally on here we do a lot of drone talk. Today we're going to be talking about my small business, which includes drones and includes web development as well. And we're broadcasting from inside of my Airstream. So if you're new to this channel, I do have a 25-foot Airstream that I was full-time in for over a decade. And recently we're in a rental house instead to have a little more space, because 25 feet long by 8 feet wide isn't a lot of space. So this past week I've been down in Arizona. I'm south of Phoenix, Arizona right now. And I've been working with one of my regular clients over the past week. And a lot of things have come up. So first of all, let's catch you up on the Airstream challenges. So I was getting ready last week to come down here, had everything prepped in the Airstream, had the Airstream packed out with all of my gear, which includes, 4 big Pelican cases over here, one think tank camera bag, and a bunch of other electronics and clothing and everything. And so I had everything packed out, ready to go. The day before leaving for the trip, went to hook up the Airstream, everything was fine. And then my electric hitch jack went out. So talk about a total bummer. So up on the front of the Airstream, you can do manual hitch jacks where you're, turning it yourself by hand, a hand crank. I had an electric one that I put on in 2006 when I first started full timing, and it finally met its end. Of course, it met its end right before I'm going off on a trip, so I had to delay departure on Saturday. Had to get a new electric hitch jack and then hook that all up. And so I didn't depart till Sunday, so usually I like to give myself a couple of days to come down, go do some flying, and have some fun photography at Painted Petroglyph Park. Didn't get to do that this year. So lost that day, and it was a little frustrating. Not being full-time in the Airstream means that I got to pull stuff out of the house to put in the Airstream, and when you're living full-time, you have all your gear and equipment with you, and you figure out its exact places. So it took me a little while to settle back into the Airstreaming aspect of my business. I bring the Airstream along because it's my portable kitchen, so we've got the stove behind me, water bottle, sink, all those types of things. Something that I've mentioned on channel before, if you're new to this channel, you probably don't know about this, but I actually have an autoimmune disorder and I have severe food allergies. I mean, the kind that can kill you. And so I haven't been to a restaurant in quite some time. Last time I went to one, ended up using an EpiPen and then having to go to the ER. So I like to avoid that. So when I do remote work for clients, the Airstream is usually in tow. So it was a frustrating experience, like I said, getting everything set up. And then I got down here and my kitchen water went out. Well, it didn't go out. Apparently there's a crack in the plastic. It is an older faucet. So as the Airstream ages, I've got to keep doing updates. So we've been without water in the Airstream for the entire week. Fortunately, I'm at an RV resort. That's who I'm working with. So they have their public showers and everything. So I just dealt with it, and we didn't have water in the Airstream for the week. So that was a bit of a challenge, a little frustrating, and that happened the second day I got here. So the first day, everything was going good with the faucet. The second day, faucet was leaking all over the place. So when I get back into Prescott, we'll deal with that. We'll pull that one out and we'll put a new one in. So there's the Airstream and travel side of this. Let's talk about what I was doing down here this week. So I've got a client that owns multiple RV parks and resorts, and we've been doing their web work since 2015 for them. We don't do all the web work for them. They actually have staff members who work on their websites throughout the year, and we help them with some of the heavy lifting. So I was down here this week to talk to a new park manager that they have at another park that they just purchased. So sitting down and talking with them about what they'd like to do with their website, also gathering some images for them while I'm in the area. And we did a little bit of drone work here too, including this morning I was out doing drone work. And when you think of Arizona, you think of warm temperatures and saguaro cactus and all that. Cold snaps do happen, so this morning I was out in a heavier jacket, freezing while I was flying. I think it was like 34 degrees this morning when I got up and got set up. So it can get cold in Arizona, and that does impact your flights as well, especially if you have snow or freezing rain, which has been going on back in Prescott, so I'm glad I missed that part. Now, one interesting thing this week that bothered me and is part of the title of today's post is a conversation with one of the new members of park management. So I'm not naming names of which parks I was at this week, but I did have a conversation with one of the new folks at a park here, and we were discussing drone flight for imaging the park. And the gentleman had a really interesting response when we were talking about doing some drone work to show off the park. The response that he had for me was very simple. If a drone comes near me, boom. Yep, that's what he said to me. So that was very interesting, and I said to him, you know, we've been doing imaging work for quite some time with this particular chain of resorts and parks, and you know, fully insured, Part 107 drone operator, and I always make sure to put safety first. And you know, in the conversation with this gentleman, he just had extremely strong feelings about drone work. So my final response to that in working with that particular park was, we're not going to fly. Even though the owners and the senior park management were interested in it, I just steered away from that for this week. And you know, the ownership and the other park management can have a conversation with them later, because I did let the folks know that, you know, that was kind of threatening, and I don't need that as part of my business. And we're all going to run into these types of things occasionally where, you know, people are boisterous or totally anti-drone or being the big man. And in the end, one of the solutions is to not work with that person. And that's kind of the choice that I went with this week. I had plenty to do, and I'm going to be playing catch up when I get home. So you'll be seeing this video after I return to Prescott, and I'll be working on a lot of videos and photography and some content updates for some of the newer parks. And so missing out on this particular opportunity to get some flight in for this park is okay by me. Now, I'd say you really have to feel clients out, make sure that their staff is on board, because I really don't want to have something threatening proposed to me when I say that I'm doing drone work for the parks, and the response is a shotgun click, click, and a boom. It's not funny, and as far as I know, that's actually criminal behavior, so shooting down drones, not a great idea. But you are going to run into this from time to time. And it's not the first person who's said something threatening about, if you bring your drone near me. Well, I'm not planning on bringing my drone near you, because most likely you're not employing me to do a job. So why would I be flying my drone around you in any way, shape, or form? No interest. One of the comments that he made later in our conversation was he was very concerned about his privacy and the fact that his privacy can be invaded with a drone. And I said, short of flying it right next to your window, not really. Usually when you get a little elevation, people are just pixels on the screen at that point. We're not really getting that resolution of people's faces or anything. You know, bigger drones, bigger cameras, bigger zooms, sure, maybe you can invade somebody's privacy, but I can get closer photos with my Canon 5D or my 7D with some of my long lenses, and you won't hear a buzzing of a drone. So the privacy argument kind of fails for me, given my experience with my flights and what I'm shooting for clients and what I'm focusing on. When I'm trying to show off a park, I'm going to have a little more elevation there, and we're really not going to know who the people on the screen are. But so that was an interesting conversation the second day I got here, and it just made it real easy for me. No drone work for you, so you won't be consistent with the other parks. And you know, some of these drone images really come across great, as you'll see in upcoming videos or even tagged into this video. I got some really good shots this week, both ground-based and drone-based, and some photos just for my own enjoyment as well. So we got some good flight in, we got the Airstream travel time in, And I'm really looking forward to hooking up and getting back up to Prescott tomorrow and getting to work on the next part of stuff. By the way, the one other thing, so at this particular park, during the winters, it gets really busy in southern Arizona and central Arizona with tens of thousands of RVers. And once again, my experience here with the network, I'm looking over at my computers, um, network quality is garbage this time of year at some of these resort areas. And my Verizon 4G LTE, which is an unlimited business plan, was completely useless here for the week. So I haven't been able to upload things. I've barely been able to use email. I've barely been able to, Google directions to some of these parks. The network is just that bad. They even have their own Wi-Fi here, which is a monthly pay, and that Wi-Fi has fallen down on the job. So I'd stay here longer and do the work directly here, but given the network, it's better to get up to Prescott so I'm not wasting hours on uploads that should take 15 or 20 minutes instead. So there you go. There's the whole trip in a nutshell, and hopefully I've included some of the video and images shot this week, and you're enjoying that as well to give you an idea what I've been doing here. All right, with all that said, and this being an extra long video, just kind of starting 2020 off with being busy, that's a good thing. By the way, this week after I get back to Prescott, I'm going to be doing all this editing. I'm also starting up a new contract on Tuesday. So this is going to be an interesting week. I'm going to be doing a lot of editing from the work that I've done down here, and then I'm taking on the newest client, and with that, there's going to be some flights going on. Upcoming in the very near future, we're going to be looking at an Android app here, so stay tuned, and this should be a lot of fun.